Hi everyone. So I'm here with my reading rundown of May. I will give you a yes or a no with my rating and tell you a little bit about each book. I've talked about some of them before, so I won't get into all of them in detail, but I hope that you enjoy this. Let's get into it. Okay, so let's get the bad news out of the way first. Let's talk about the book I liked the least, and that would be Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. I gave this 2 stars. This one's a no for me. If you read it and you liked it, I'm happy for you. I'm sorry, no. I would say if you don't really care about the quality of writing and the idea of a slightly techy, maybe dubiously scientific, suspenseful adventure through parallel universes, all to give you the message of life isn't full without a wife and child, go ahead, by all means, read it. I am still annoyed that I read this. Next up, I read the Never After series by Stephanie Garber. That's Once Upon a Broken Heart, A Ballad of Never After, and A Curse for True Love. I gave this series as a whole 3 to 4 stars. I have to say, I'm a little embarrassed that I read the whole thing. I really, really disliked Caraval, but I kept seeing this series all over TikTok, so I gave Stephanie Garber another chance. This series is markedly better. It's still a slightly ungrounded YA fantasy that spends more time describing everybody's outfits than actually building a world or developing characters. That being said, I did really enjoy Evangeline and Jax. And that their relationship was enough to carry me through all 3 books. They were an easy read. But I would say no if you really like fantasy, because this one's not going to do it for you. But if you are a young girly girl who would like to dip your toe into the genre, then yes. So the next few books I'm going to talk about, I already talked about in my video about Female Rage. Please feel free to watch that one if you want to know more about these books, and also because it was a banging makeup look. But the first one is Listen for the Lie by Amy Tintera. I gave this one 4 stars. I would say yes if you want a really solid mystery slash thriller for the summer. It's perfect for that. It's better than a lot of other thrillers that I've read of late. It's fun, it's intriguing. I mean, it could be a little bit predictable, but I just thought the characters were really well done and interesting. The audiobook is really fun because there are sections that are a podcast, and that was like produced like a podcast, and that was very, very cool. So I do highly recommend this one. It's a great summer read. Okay, the next one is The Rachel Incident by Caroline O'Donoghue. I gave this one 4.5 stars. If you prefer literary fiction to mysteries and thrillers for your summer reads, this one might do it for you, especially if you've ever been an overlooked, maybe slightly overweight, bookish woman with a fabulous gay best friend. I mean, who hasn't been that girl? It's not too heavy, but it will get you in the feels. I highly recommend. The next one is Piglet by Lottie Hazel. I gave this one 4.75 stars. If you are the type of woman I just described, you'd probably also really like Piglet. The way this book is described, even on the back of the book, on Goodreads, even the front cover kind of made me think it was going to be like a horrific book, but it is not. I mean, well, it depends on how you view horrific. It's a story of a woman dealing with like a lifetime of gifted insecurities, trying to decide whether or not she has enough self-worth to stand up for herself. And if you love food and cooking, you'll love the descriptions and the prose in this book. So I absolutely love the audiobook narrator who read that exquisite prose with just the right accent, and it just made it seem both elegant and also like a little bit queasy. It was perfection. Okay, next up, I read Heir of Fire and Queen of Shadows, both by Sarah J. Maas, both in the Throne of Glass series. I've already talked about Throne of Glass on here already, so I won't go into it, but I will say again, if you are interested to read Throne of Glass after hearing about it all over Book Talk, and are maybe even trudging through the first, second, or even third book of the series, just know that the series really picks up with Heir of Fire, and Queen of Shadows was banging. I am now fully invested in the series, and I'm excited to continue with it. But it took a while. If you want decent fantasy world building with more romance and maybe a little more spice, you should read A Court of Thorn and Roses. If you want some romance and more fantasy world building, Throne of Glass might be your jam. Okay, the next one is I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jennette McCurdy. I gave this one 5 stars. If you saw my Female Rage video, you'll know that this one is a definite yes, absolutely. And specifically read the audiobook, because with Jennette reading it, it's amazing, it's chilling, it's devastating, and incredibly moving. Okay, and finally, I read One Day by David Nichols, and I gave this 5 stars. After reading 5 pretty heavy books about female rage, I decided I need something light and fun, so Libby decided to absolutely destroy me instead and put this in my queue. I'd seen the Anne Hathaway movie years and years ago, so I did know what happened. I haven't yet watched the show, but it's on my list to watch because I've seen that it's really good. This book is gorgeous. It's beautiful. Em and Dex now live rent-free in my heart. I wasn't expecting such a long book. It was a 16-hour audiobook. But I spent that time getting to know these people so much better than I know most people. And yes, the book is sad, but I really only cried a little bit because it's not so much about the plot and what happens, but it's just about the beauty of these people and the hopeful, very inspiring message of seizing the day. So I guess no, don't read this if you're looking for a light and easy beach read for the summer, but otherwise, yes, definitely. And seriously, don't forget to seize the day. All right, and that's the look. I hope that you've enjoyed this. Let me know if you've read any of these, what your thoughts were, and if you have any other recommendations for me, and I will see you next time. Bye.